Crazy 88. Back again with another live stream from you on the Balcony Chronicles. Well, it's not going to be the Balcony Chronicles because it's not Saturday. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening, hump week. On the balcony, we just saying what comes to mind, saying what's on my mind this evening. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing very well. I know y'all are about to go to sleep, go to bed, go to work in the morning. Because you guys that work in the morning. Holiday season is coming up, and of course I have to have my cigar. Of course you can't see it. It's the CAO Italia, one of my favorite brands. It is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite brand of cigar. Ever since I was introduced to cigar by a good friend of mine. So I decided to start trying it out. I'm not addicted to it or anything like that. It's good to have a nice little cigar every once in a while, or every weekend when I talk, or every time when I talk to you guys. I know my man David Carroll, God rest his soul, used to fire one up before he would start one of his classic videos. But times have changed, things have changed, society has changed since the last 10 years. All right. Oh, what was on my mind tonight? Let's see. There was a couple of things on my mind. I was scrolling through Facebook page, and saw an article in the New York Post that was posted on Facebook about a flight attendant getting into it. A white male flight attendant getting into a black chick, all because she was acting a fool. Well, not really acting a fool, but talking loud on her cell phone in French, because it was two flight attendants that were on a bus, airport shuttle bus. All they were trying to do was just go to work, make their money, and get the fuck out. But that's what happens when you're on a job nowadays, People, ever since the pandemic, people have said, fuck it, fuck a job. Fuck these people, let me just work at home. But there are still some people out there that are needed in the service industry. Last thing you want to do is fuck up getting into it with another colleague. And you're not going to believe this man got arrested for for battery, just for tapping her on the shoulder. And of course, the state of Florida has already abandoned the case, dismissed it, because it was nonsense. I can't believe the police, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, this would have been nonsense. The police would never, ever make an arrest like that on some nonsense. They got more important issues that's going on to cite and release a guy for tapping someone on the shoulder after getting into an altercation. Now, I admit it, you ain't supposed to be touching anybody unwanted. You're not supposed to be doing any unwanted touching, but this is what it's come to, people. Where now you're getting arrested for touching someone. And by the way, I saw the body cam video of that bull job. And it was bullshit. Just remember, you're going to be encountering bullshit for the rest of your life. And possibly the rest of my life as well. That's just one article that I saw that was bullshit. But of course, it was a white man and a black woman. The black woman got the white man a score of 1 for team divester. All right. And all the white man did was tell her to shut the fuck up. But then again, you know, like I said before, all women are the same. They're just different. Doesn't matter what race, religion, creed. They're all the same, man. At the end of the day, they're all the same, player. As not, I'm just rambling on. I just saw it on Facebook. I just wanted to touch on that for a minute. But it's bullshit. You know, let's talk about something else, man. Let me see what's going on in my head right now. I don't know. I have nothing except I saw an article also on Facebook where, you know, a Facebook post about the guy who created Black Planet. Now, I haven't seen Black Planet in ages. All right, that used to be the shiznit back in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? It predated Facebook, MySpace, and it got jacked by. Matter of fact, it got jacked by Facebook and MySpace and Facebook. Hell, I met a few honeys off of Facebook, off of Black Planet. I got some pussy. I got some pussy off of Black Planet. All right. That was the shit where you just go there, bullshit around, talk to some, wasted valuable time. And that's how I wasted my time, man, back around the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, right? I wasted my time on social media. It's a waste of time, man. And this is why I'm talking about black men. You gotta value your time. Okay? Your time is much more valuable than anything else or any other resources on this planet, right? Because we're all gonna get old. You're gonna be in your 50s. And you don't wanna be looking for a job in your 50s by high-signing and bullshitting. Bull jiving. Okay? You don't want to be that old man working at Walmart pushing shopping carts around in the dead of winter. All right? But then again, when you get to my age at 50, you're more like, I feel like I'm more likely to take more risks than I did when I was in my 40s and when I was in my 30s or in my 20s. Because I was scared, in my 20s and 30s, I was a scared little bunny rabbit. I was a bitch. Okay? Instead of starting that business when I was at 30, I decided to go get a job, man. I decided to go get jobs that I was overqualified for. And when you hear that word, overqualified, shit, in the corporate world, that's a death sentence. I've heard it so many goddamn time. Oh, every time I go to the interview, after the interviewer said, well, you have a great resume, but you're overqualified for this position. Oh, really? What position am I qualified for? See, that's what they never tell you. They never tell you what you're qualified for. They'll just bring you in as a dog and pony show just to tell you that you're overqualified. And that's the clue. And here's how you can overcome that, man, when you're overqualified for a position. You got to do what I didn't do, what I'm doing now, is going on LinkedIn. And that's the only social media platform that I'm always on, is on LinkedIn. And networking. You always got to go out there as a black man. You always got to be shaking hands and showing your faces at the Christmas parties if you have a job. If you have a corporate job, show your face at the Christmas parties. Right now, this is a good time to show your face to the Christmas party. Sit down with your bosses. You know, you need to hang out with your bosses, not with your punk ass co-workers who's going to stab you in the back. Okay? Because those motherfuckers are... Let me just tell you about my work experience when I was at my first corporate experience at Morgan Stanley. See, I'm telling on myself. Yeah, I used to work at Morgan Stanley. That was my first job out of college. All right. And I still should have been there moving up. But I wanted the high sign bullshit. While I was on the job, looking for another job. I was on the job looking for another job with another company instead of saying, hey, I'm in a Fortune 100 company. Why not? How I got in the door, okay? I got in the back door. Let me work this bitch for a little while and let's see what's going on. I should have still been there at I should have spent at least 3 years at Morgan Stanley. Trying to get promoted, you know, probably work my way, do some lateral transfers, or try to get a promotion, or just do my gosh darn job. See, I was distracted by women. Just like any young man would, like any other young black men, I fell into that trap. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I fell into that trap. And it took me a while to figure it out that these bitches on the job ain't shit. Bitches in general ain't shit, especially the ones on the job. Okay? Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. That's why there's like 200 million of these bitches in this country. But yet you want to fuck around on the job, fucking with some punk ass bitch who's liable to get you fired from your job. That's why ever since then, I had a policy. My man Tom Likes, when I listened to him, after I left Morgan Stanley, went to another job, said, fuck it, it wasn't for me. Bouncing from job to job, bouncing from job to job. Okay? Until I decided, hey man, let me go back to school and get an accounting degree, which I did. Now I'm in the catbird seat. See, I want you to be where I am. All right? I want you to be where I am before you're 50. Before you turn 50. You never want to spend your 20s and 30s spinning your wheels. That's a waste of time. Going from job interview to job interview just to be told you're not qualified or you're overqualified. That's the worst trap that you can ever be in. Or even worse, do like these black women do when you can't find a job. What's the first thing that they do? Go back to school to get another useless degree. Spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get a useless degree. All right. That's why I'm glad you guys are living in this time where you can develop your skill set. for pennies on the dollar. You ain't got to go to no dang on college, spending $100,000 in student loans to get a useless degree just to be told that you're overqualified for an entry-level job. You know, I'm taking my time right now. I'm learning another skill set, the AI, Chat GPT. And let me go ahead and talk about Glendon Cameron. He came back to YouTube. Shout out to Glendon Cameron. Kung Fu Hustlers, man. All right? Instead of spending your money on bitches, I would highly recommend that you take one of his courses, especially the corporate citizen, as well as his Chat GPT course, his AI course. All right? It ain't free anymore. It ain't free. It ain't cheap. But somehow this brother is making money. And I remember he was dragged for being called a predator by some punk ass YouTubers. See, I was around YouTube, but I wasn't on as much. Otherwise, I would have just told y'all motherfuckers, leave that motherfucker alone. He's trying to help y'all punk ass make some money. He was giving you ideas on how to make some money for free. And he talked about it in his video, and he's not, let me just say this. This is how the perceived uncle, and I'm gonna do a video about that later on this week. The perceived Uncle Toms. And I don't believe that Uncle Toms, I don't think that they are born. I think they are created. Because I wouldn't say Uncle Tom. Y'all would call them Sambos, the Coons, sellouts. They weren't born. Sellouts weren't born. They were created because they want to get away from that toxic behavior of the black community. You know, the loser mentality of the black community. I call it the loser mentality. See, I've been reading books on winning in life, winning strategies, being a strategist. All right? Strategist. So y'all running around doing nothing with your life, smoking weed, fucking on bitches like I did. I was fucking with the bitches. That was on my mind instead of learning how to win. It took me into my mid-40s at saying, hey, to realize, hey, I gotta win at life. I'm tired of losing. I am tired of it. I'm tired of losing. Let me find a way to win. And I've started recognizing and studying people who are winners. Michael Jordan is a winner in life. Okay? He's successful because he was competitive. He went out there, said, I don't give a fuck. Let me go ahead and get this championship. Let me go ahead and get this MVP. You're not better than me. I'm better than you. See, I was up here having my head down saying, you ain't no better than me. Instead of saying, I am better than you. Because that next person, when you on that job, when you on that job pushing shopping carts, all right, you muttering under your breath saying, I can do his job better than him. I can do cashier better than that punk ass Fred. I'm better than the manager. I can manage this place better than Fred, than Sam could. That's what you're muttering under your breath, but you're too scared to go out there and do it, improve yourself. But like I said, sellouts were never created, were never born. They're created because when you elevate yourself, and it goes from not just black folks, it's anyone. When you elevate yourself from your friends, from your community, and you start making long money, and you leaving people whose money is shorter than a midget's legs behind. The women that you're with right now, that is your girlfriend, that is your wife, she has that loser mentality. Okay? She has a loser personality. She quit her job. Some of y'all quit your jobs, man, because you can't compete. You know why I know? Because I've done it. I quit jobs because I couldn't stand that motherfucker that I was working with. That makes you a quitter instead of making yourself look better. But I want you to go ahead, stack your money, learn a skill set, man. Leave pussy alone. Leave these punk ass women alone, because they ain't shit. At the end of the day, they ain't shit. See, when I did that, and I did a six-part podcast about the bitch messed me up. I took that shit down, but it was a six-part, even though it was therapeutic, but looking back on it, the bitch did not mess me up. I messed myself up by choosing that bitch. I chose a loser. I chose a loser that decided to fuck me over. Some of y'all baby mamas are losers. They fucked you over, or you fucked them over, and they got their revenge on you. Remember last week when I was last Saturday, I was talking about how black men should get married, but you have to get married to the right person that's supposed to be supportive of you, and that's going to be in your corner regardless. And Glendon Cameron, he said the same thing. Y'all too scared to have y'all black men, y'all are too scared to have a wife. Black women, y'all scared because y'all punk ass bitches. Y'all scared to have a husband. Because you don't value character. You don't black women do not value, and I'm gonna be honest with you, black women do not value character in a man. They value everything else except character. That's why y'all are single. That's why you have 3 children by 3 different men. You have a baby with a prison nigga. That's why you're in that situation. You're in the situation you are in right now because you did not value a man with character. Fuck being nice. Fuck a nice guy. I'm not a nice guy. I was. Until I realized that nice really meant you're an idiot. If you look up the word nice, and I mean it really is, if you really study the dictionary, look through nice, the word nice, there's another meaning. It's an old French word that meant idiot. See, if you call somebody back in the 15th century nice, they would have stabbed you. Okay? So get that out of your vocabulary. Get nice. He's a nice guy. She's a nice woman. Get that word out of your Get that word out of your vocabulary as an adjective for a person's behavior and character. Once I got that out of my vocabulary, I felt 100 times better. I felt like a man. Because I'm not a nice guy. I realize that. I'm not a nice guy. I'm not an idiot. I'm respectful. I'm generous. I'm cordial. But I'm not nice. I'd rather be known as being respectful. Let me see how much time I got left, because I got to get to work anyway. Let me go ahead and get the fuck out of here. I'm 30 minutes in, and my cigar is almost done. Let me go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Listen. You change your. I just gave you I just gave you some game tonight about changing your vocabulary, changing how you describe yourself. You're not a nice guy. And I'm gonna go in deep with that to the bros later on another not a live stream, but a video about it, going into detail about how y'all should stop being nice guys. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and get on out of here. This is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here. And black men, let's be careful out there, all right?